Welcome to episode 5 of the Jungle Podcast. I'm John. You know Jeff. There's another face you might not be as familiar with on the screen. It's our buddy Graham. He's a 90s NBA expert, so we wanted to have him on board. Welcome to the show, Graham.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate the invite here. Looking forward to kicking it around with you and making fun of your pretty little faces.
Hey, wait a minute. We have to mention that Graham is responsible for naming the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, we gave him a shout out last time. He had given us some feedback on the polls. I know there's some pretty contentious back and forth going on Twitter, so we wanted to bring one of those talking heads on here.
Yeah, man.
Good ideas happen after 9 p.m. about halfway through the bottle every night.
See, this is exactly why we brought him on.
That's
to spit
right up our alley.
To spit some wisdom to everybody else.
Exactly. So a couple ways to find us just before we kick things off: at the Jungle Pod on Twitter, the Jungle Podcast on YouTube. We've had some technical difficulties with episodes 3. 4 will go up. 5, the one we're listening to right now, should go up tonight as well. So you can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that you might find a podcast. You can find ours at the Jungle Podcast. So excited to kick things off. I want to start with a couple of news and notes. One thing that caught my eye today is the NCAA. Did you see that they are giving the green light to paying athletes for likeness?
Yeah, but it's got to get voted on and passed.
Paying them per se, but they can be paid for this type of action.
And remember that, they cannot use the school's logos or anything like that. It's only for them, which is fine. I mean, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like if they go sign an autograph, they should 100% get paid for that.
Interesting step, either way.
But it is. It's just hopefully it passes. I think it comes up in January. I think January 2021 is when they vote on that.
Yeah, I saw it. The other interesting bit on that was the video game, NCAA video game, that got nixed.
Did it? I didn't see that.
I just thought it was like an interesting timing. Like one saying, one's giving the green light, but not the video games. Who knows why?
Did it give like a is it mess up in production or what's wrong with it?
My sources have been a little bit late to reply today, so unfortunately that's about as much insight as I have.
Gotcha. Well, hey, look, I have actually a pretty interesting story over the weekend that if this would have happened probably 5 months ago, everyone would be talking about it. But the Pentagon officially released a video of a UFO.
I saw that. No, it had already been released. I think they acknowledged it was a UFO.
They acknowledged it was a UFO.
We don't know what this is.
We don't. They don't know what it is. Video of that craft going on crazy speeds, making crazy maneuvers, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah, maybe they're silencing the reports.
Maybe. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Graham, any news and notes from you? You want to kick in there?
Regarding
anything, buddy. Anything.
If you don't have one, I have another real heater piece of news.
All right, we can talk about something Cincinnati related that I'm anxious to get kicking off. Obviously, with the Andy Dalton news being released from the Bengals, there's a lot of talk, a lot of double-sided talk, a lot of fans, a lot of appreciation with mediocrity there, and a lot of other players or people saying about time to move on. We should have got rid of him a long time ago. So I want to know, what are your guys' thoughts on that? And then I want to talk about the Bengals, Marvin Lewis. If we think Andy Dalton is as bad as the critics are saying, can we really name any other Cincinnati greats that were drafted by the Bengals throughout the same era?
Wow, that's a lot to unpack there. I love where you're going. Let's hop right into some Andy Dalton there.
Yeah.
What's my take? I'm glad he's gone. I think the text I put out was good riddance. I can't remember who I sent that to. Might have been to you, Jeff, or maybe it's the group. I'm glad to see him gone. Yeah, Andy gave all he had. Sometimes all you have, just like trying hard, isn't good enough. I thought mediocre is the perfect label for that guy. And I'm assuming Jeff might have some other.
No, I agree with you. I'm I'm glad we're moving on from him. I don't have like this vendetta for Andy Dalton that a lot of people in Cincinnati seem to have. I mean, I think if you go on getting to the playoffs, obviously as a quarterback, not winning one of those playoff games is a big hit to him. But a lot of that was coaching, going through all that too. We moved on from that. He did show several different times if he had good protection, he could throw the ball very accurately and have some really good numbers. I mean, there's only 5 other quarterbacks besides him since 2011 that have passed for 30,000 yards, thrown 200 touchdowns, and won 70 games. And they're all Hall of Famers. It's Brady, Rodgers, Ryan, Roethlisberger, and
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Whew, that's a name. I mean, we'll talk about him.
That's a fantastic list to be a part of. But am I glad he's gone? Yes, it's time for a new era. I can't wait for Joe Burrow. But I am excited forever wherever Andy goes.
On that list, Jeff, I do want to note that every quarterback in that company has either won or made it to the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan being the only, non-Lombardi Trophy lifter.
Right.
Also,
part of the greatest comeback ever on the wrong side of it.
Let's say
Andy Dalton has never won a playoff game. So I think to all the Cincinnati people who are okay with being an average C-plus student, then yeah, Andy Dalton is the quarterback for you. If you like winning championships, something that Cincinnati doesn't know anything about, then it's time to move on. We need to rebuild. We should have gotten rid of Marvin, promoted Mike Zimmer as a head coach, and our roster and trajectory in the playoffs would have looked completely different. Do you guys agree?
I agree with you, and we drafted 100%. A winner. Joe Burrow's always won.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, team Big Dick Joe all the way.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they got better in free agency. I think we talked about this last time, John. They had a great draft in our opinions. In most people's eyes, I think they had a very good draft. So that era is moving up. All I'm saying is to just completely throw away anything Dalton ever did. I mean, that's where I have a problem with it. But yes, you're right. He was a C-plus student when it came to playing quarterback in the NFL.
He's consistent. He's consistent.
Winning record.
Winning record.
Well, what did he really do? He didn't really win anything. Here's what he won. If you're a Bengals fan, if you're a true Bengals fan, you know the statistics about day games versus prime time. What did he really win?
Yeah.
I would go on I don't know this. We'll fact check it later. I'll bet you he won less than 2 primetime games in his entire career. One that was in the lights, Sunday night, Monday night. I don't think he won any because the Bengals have an atrocious record with that.
He didn't win in primetime until for what? He was 0-7 or something in primetime.
I'd go out on a limb and say he's never won in primetime.
Yeah, he never won a playoff game. So I get it. He didn't win anything. He won the AFC North in, what was it, 2015 or something like that?
Paxton Lynch could have won more games than him with the defensive unit the Bengals had.
Paxton Lynch, we're taking it to Paxton Lynch right now.
Come on.
All I'm saying, with the defensive unit the Bengals have had over the past decade, we have a great secondary.
They had the worst defense in football the past 2 years.
Yeah, I'm talking Marvin Lewis era. I'm talking Marvin Lewis era.
You're talking about a guy who couldn't hold a starting job for 1 year under friggin' John Elway.
Shit, John Elway could throw more tutties than him.
Go through quarterbacks like this.
More than Paxton Lynch, maybe. All right, I don't mean to cut the conversation off. Where do we think he's going, though? One that I saw was Jacksonville because they have Jay Gruden and they have Eifert. That'd be interesting.
I think
you're without a starter, really. What do you think about that? Gardner Minshew versus Andy Dalton.
They're not without a starter. I mean, Minshew won some games, but he's not like a bona fide starter yet.
So like a 6th round pick that
Oh, I know. So I think you bring Dalton in there as for Jacksonville, and that's a really good sign. Get Minshew up a little bit if they do think he's the right guy, but chances are Jacksonville's probably not going to win a lot of games next year, and Trevor Lawrence is going to be coming out. Justin Fields is going to be coming out.
That's what I was thinking. If they're smart, they pay a cheaper, better player.
What about the Patriots? Grant, where is he going? Where do you think Dalton's going?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jacksonville and Patriots, obviously what the media is talking about most, but obviously the two teams, I think, in a dire quarterback position. There are some other good free agents out there right now. And I don't see a player like Cam Newton going to the Patriots. I think Dalton is a player that could fit within the Belichick system pretty seamlessly, and having the experience and being the pawn that he is would work great in that offense.
I agree with you.
That's the key part of that argument.
But see,
that's
that's a really good point, because you're right. Cam's got that. I mean, Cam's got too big of a personality, I think, to go to the Patriots, where Dalton will go there and just yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. You know.
So all this talk about
Dalton, man.
yeah, what in my opinion, when you get at the quarterback level, when you get to the level of NFL, if you are a drafted, first rounder, multiple year starter, you have a little bit of a track record. It doesn't come down to pure raw talent. Everyone does have, yes, some people are better accuracy and arm strength than others, but relatively the same ballpark. What separates the good from the greats is what's done in between the ears and your ability to lead your troops into battle. And that's where Andy Dalton lacks. I mean, he can throw and he can manage a game, and we'll get into this later on our segment, but when I think of a great quarterback, I'm not looking for, the fastest on the field or who can throw it the best. I want someone who's going to lead my team in confidence, be able to progress through plays and break down a defense and step up when it's playoff time. Andy Dalton just
You're right.
Godspeed, brother.
Godspeed to him too. And we're not comparing him to Cam Newton, because Cam Newton, I think, has done all of those things. If all three of us, if you chose who to play
he's done
behind,
a lot
all
of
three
things
of us
that
would say
Andy
Cam
hasn't
Newton.
done.
Yeah. So
Andy never stole lobsters or laptops.
Lobsters. I don't know if he stole lobsters.
Crab legs, lobsters.
No,
whatever.
Dude, that was Jameis Winston. That was Jameis Winston.
Crab
Oh,
legs.
shit. I'm just digging a hole.
It's fine. One thing I do think, Andy, so you guys are familiar with this. I don't know if all our listeners are. When Marvin left the city of Cincinnati, I stirred the pot a little bit and actually got as far as getting on like Cincinnati News, did an interview virtually, granted, about getting Marvin Lewis a statue. The question now is, does Andy Dalton deserve a statue? If so, how big?
Where do you put it? Right in front of Paul Brown?
Right in front.
Probably at the practice stadium, right where Andy will forever. His legacy will be known as the best pump-up speeches in the history of the NFL. So putting him in the practice field,
let's go have fun.
Maybe made out of recycled copper or something, that would be pretty fitting in my opinion.
Love it. Recycled copper would be. They have to let it like really rust out too.
It would match his original hair color.
Yeah.
Don't protect it with anything. Like just do whatever.
No, but in all seriousness, to the Wyoming Fantasy Football League, you guys know about the Marvin Lewis statue push. John actually created some waves, got local coverage, the local news stations, and there was a little bit of momentum behind it. And the internet pretty much laughed it away. So I thought that was amazing. I would laugh my ass off if we did raise
money for it. How much?
Well, for the record, if anyone else if any listeners out there donated, I ended up returning all the money because one girl actually took it seriously, and I guess she had Marvin Lewis college funded, like Center of a College, and she sent like $100. And this girl, had like just got out of college. I was like, I can't take this money from her. Like
we lost her.
But new day, Andy Dalton, different story. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to put some pulse checks out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
I want to move into our next next segment. So one of the things we were talking about a little bit earlier on the group text here was quarterbacks. So since Andy Dalton joined the league, who have been the top quarterbacks? So we thought this would be an interesting time for all of us to kind of go through, and I don't know if you guys want to do a draft for it, or or maybe we just make some lists and we talk about.
I think we should do a list.
I'm interested in hearing what your guys' top quarterbacks since 2011. Doesn't have to be coming into the NFL since 2011, but just active since 2011.
Yeah. So we'll go 10 down, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, you guys want me to start?
Sure, Jeff.
Do it up.
Number 10 for me is Matt Stafford.
What? Oh,
Matt Stafford.
Sorry. I thought you were going from number 1.
No.
And that just blew my freaking gasket. All right, Matt Stafford. Don't it. Don't agree with it, but I'll let you have it.
Hey man, he's put up some amazing numbers. Last season, he could have been in the MVP race. He could have been. His numbers were crazy last season. And since 2011, I mean, for like years, he didn't miss a game.
Matt Stafford's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow can be what Matt Stafford has been, I'd be thrilled.
It'd be great.
Does Matt Stafford get the same momentum on his career without Calvin Johnson?
No, but that's still all relative.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. And the past few years he hasn't had like a bona fide number 1 Pro Bowler.
No. I mean
Marvin Jones. Shout out Cincy.
Graham, who do you have in the 10 spot? Who do you have?
So I'm going to stir the pot a little bit here, and going back to what I believe is best is the intangibles. And I'm going to go with an AFC North foe in Ben Roethlisberger. Just what he's done as collective body of work with leading a dynamic locker room. Couple Super Bowls under his belt. Ben Roethlisberger at number 10 for me.
10 for Big Ben. I have Big Ben. I actually have him at 8. Jeff, do you have any commentary before I give mine?
I have him on my list too. I mean, he's had some amazing years in the past 10 years. I get that none of his Super Bowls came in the past decade. I understand that. But, I mean, he's put some really good numbers up, and he's always – if he's healthy, no one wants to play him. You can't take him down. He's always making crazy plays. I mean, look, top 10.
For being a fat ass, he's pretty slippery and elusive.
Yeah, he's in the top 10. He's in the top 10.
Big Ben. Okay. I've got Phillip Rivers as the 10th best quarterback since 2021.
10th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put Phil Rivers as an honorable mention for me. So I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I like that too. It's not that I don't disagree. I think Phil Rivers has a – you can argue he should be on the list, but he's another one, like, he hasn't won the big game, but he also hasn't had great supporting cast. Now, Keenan Allen, I mean, is a pretty consistent receiver when he's healthy, and I guess Antonio Gates, they had some pretty good years.
Yeah, see, Phillip, to me, he's very emotional, and he's boom or bust. So when he shows up and he's at his best, he's great. But then when he's at his worst, his lows are really low, right? So very volatile quarterback. Didn't make my top 10, but he was right knocking on that door.
Hey,
Graham,
honestly,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if Phillip Rivers was in Cincinnati for the past 9 years, he probably had some Super Bowl rings.
Probably.
I like a gunslinger. Exact opposite kind of style as Andy Dalton. I would rather go big or go home. So, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yep.
Graham, who's your number 9 spot?
Coming in at number 9 for me is Andrew Luck. He would have been higher without the injuries and the overuse of Vagisil a little bit. But coming right out of the draft for the Colts, backfilling some big shoes, who's higher up on my list. I think Andy Dalton is one of those raw talents, and in his own kind of nerdy way is really good at gaining the respect of his peers.
I like that. I have him on my list somewhere too, but I mean, his potential was absurd when he came out.
And I think what limits him, the reason he didn't hit his potential is because of injury, and that's nothing against him.
He couldn't say healthy. No,
I didn't have on my list, and I'm as big a. I think Andy.
That's surprising.
Not Andy Dalton. I think
Very
Andrew
surprising.
Luck. You know how big of a Luck fan I am.
Yeah.
He's the best quarterback, or Trevor Lawrence, I digress, is the best prospect since Andrew Luck. I think Luck was the best since Peyton Manning. I don't have him on the list. He didn't play enough. He didn't play enough. He didn't really win. Like, as far as like promise goes, I would have him on the list. As far as production and things that happened, don't have him.
Who's your number 9?
My number 9 is Peyton Manning.
What?
I knew that was going to stir up Graham.
What?
I knew that was going to stir up Graham. I'm not mad about
Oh, my God. You have Paxton Lynch above Peyton Manning.
I'm not mad about that.
That's ninth. That's the ninth best quarterback since 2011. The guy had like nerve damage. He won a Super Bowl, but he didn't really win it. It was a defense. Like all of his best stuff was preceding 2011.
Hey, look, and I disagree with you. But Peyton Manning, aside from maybe Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer, for his second Super Bowl, he's the third worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
What? Oh my God!
His second.
Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
His second Super Bowl. He was terrible in that game. Awful in that game. Awful. I'm talking about in the game. Just in the game, not the season. In the game, he was terrible.
Okay. I didn't interpret it that way.
You guys say
in the game.
One thing won't change. He's number 9 on my list.
Number 9.
Okay,
my
number 8.
Hold on. My number.
Sorry, Jeff. There's too many people.
My number 9 is Matt Ryan.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, solid.
He's coming up.
Yeah.
I do have him on my list. Similar to Phillip Rivers in terms of longevity and consistency, Matt Ryan is one of those guys who, very, very consistent in terms of what he puts up on the field. Passing yards, I believe he's a top 5 over that time frame. And he did it with some solid offenses, some of the best offenses we've seen.
Yeah.
Graham, who is your number 9? I'm just noting these down as we go.
Andrew Luck.
Luck, that's right.
And Matt, right. I mean, now then Matt Ryan's offense got even better this year. They got Gurley coming in. So
I've got awesome. Ryan on my list. I've just got him higher than that.
Yeah, which I respect that. Yeah. All right, so that's my number 9. Just to get out, my number 8 was Luck. We talked about him already, but he was my number 8.
Okay. How about you, Graham?
Another AFC foe, Lamar Jackson, coming off of a really, really, really hot season. He would have been higher, but just not enough. Ink on paper to really show for it. But, I mean, if you want to talk about an electrifying player, both in the air and on the ground, he's in a very, very elite company.
I like it so much. I had him as my 10th, and then I ripped him off because he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, here's the thing. I didn't put him on my list at all because I didn't even think about the 2020 season, to be honest with you.
So a little bit of this is open to interpretation, right? Yeah, so I interpreted this as yes, we're taking into account a body of work, but we're also taking into account of if I'm drafting or creating a franchise for a 1-year season, where will I take these guys?
Andrew Luck. You had Andrew Luck as your number 9. He's retired. So you wouldn't be.
Said both a body of work and also their peak years. So kind of taking that all into consideration.
Okay. All right. Fair.
So Lamar, mad props. If you had more time on this list, you'd be higher.
Lamar, get at us on Twitter at the Jungle Pod and let us know what you think about that feedback.
Love a good shameless plug from a salesman. To you, John.
Yep.
Which one am I on now? I'm going on my
we're on 8. You're on 8.
My 8 is Big Ben. I already said that though, so no real big surprise there. Graham, you're the guest. Why don't you kick us off with 7?
7, I have Matt Ryan, one we already talked about. The consistency there for me.
7 for me was Big Ben.
Ben, I had 7 for me was Cam Newton. I thought he deserved it. NFL MVP. The guy, he took the freaking Panthers that year, 2015, I believe, to the Super Bowl.
They were 15-1, weren't they?
Is he on your guys' lists, or do you have him higher than that?
Actually,
shout out to Luke Kuechly. Shout out to Cincy native Luke Kuechly on that Super Bowl team. Out of Elder High School, I believe.
I was wrong. Yes, he did.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Or X.
Kyle Rudolph was Elder. All right.
There you go.
Yep.
What were you saying, Jeff?
I made a mistake reading my notes earlier. I have Newton right after Roethlisberger.
Those big dumb hands.
At 6.
Wait, so you have it 6. Okay, so you have Jeff, you have Cam at 6. Graham, who do you have at 6?
All right, this guy I have at 6, he's really a dual threat. Triple threat when you talk about the intangibles. Russell Wilson, absolute killer on the field.
At 6.
At 6.
Noted.
Yeah.
At my 6, I had Matt Ryan.
Okay. So we're
about him.
Okay, we talked about him.
So what did you like about Matt Ryan
at this point now?
John, what did you like about Matt Ryan that you put him so high on your list compared to me and Jeff?
I mean, I put him one spot before you and two spots before Jeff. I think he's an NFL MVP. That was one of the prerequisites for being on my list for the most part. Not everyone fits that mold, but that was one thing that automatically got you on my list. He took the Falcons to the Super Bowl and blew the lead. He had the freaking lead, the greatest upset really ever against Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Was that the worst blown lead in Super Bowl history?
It's the best comeback ever.
Right. But they got that far. Like, how many times have the Falcons been in that position since you've been alive? Never.
Oh, they've been good.
They're playoff contenders pretty consistent.
Leading at halftime by 20 points. That's why you got 6 on my list. The guy who beat him is going to be higher, but to answer your question, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you put Matt Ryan on the Bengals throughout the same timeline as Andy Dalton, there is multiple Super Bowl appearances there.
Yeah, you're arguing
John's if you put any of these quarterbacks
not knocking it
on the Bengals instead of Andy Dalton, they're going to do better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so Grant, did you say you're 6?
Yeah, I had Russell.
That's right. All right, so you want to know my 5?
Love to, yeah.
Peyton Manning. Already talked about him. No, he's my 5. Peyton Manning.
The guy played like 3 years. When he retired like 2015. And the guy couldn't even like sign
those
his
5
like,
years. Those 5 years. I mean, he was elite.
Walks around like this because he can't.
I get that, but hey, dude, you put Cam. You have Cam Newton higher than Peyton Manning, and he's been a less amount of time.
Yeah.
Burn!
I mean, Cam's in his prime. Cam went to the Super Bowl. Cam won an MVP.
Yeah, but we're not saying the prime. Peyton won a Super Bowl.
No, sorry. He went to the Super Bowl. He was NFL MVP.
So was Peyton.
Peyton Manning, he was not the NFL MVP since 2011. No, he wasn't.
When he played for the Broncos, was he?
He was not the most valuable player of the NFL that year. He was not.
He was MVP in 2013.
Is that true?
I don't know about that. But
that's a fact. I fact-checked that.
Okay. Anyways, that's why I don't have him that high.
Look,
Graham, who do you have at 5?
Look, in 2013, he threw for 5,400 yards and 55 touchdowns.
I can't even count that high, Jeff King. Oh, my God.
Both of them were records. Graham, who's your number 5?
This one, probably not going to get a lot of fan votes on this. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers.
I like Rodgers. He's on my top 5. I don't have him that
top
high.
5
I'm interested to see who you have higher. And to circle back to our argument, I did look. You're right. That was before the nerve damage. I think the nerve damage happened after or during the 2013 season. I stand by everything I said. I'm
confident. Hey, I get it.
Well, dude, he got the freaking injury. It's like, all right, 2 years versus 8 years. Okay,
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Good pick, Graham. Rodgers.
Who's your 5, John?
5 for me, I have Patrick Mahomes.
See, again, look, you guys both picked Jackson and Mahomes should both be on my list. I'm not going to change it, but they should be on my list. I didn't think about 2020. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was probably stuck in
You don't have Patrick Mahomes on your list?
No, I know it's wrong. It's wrong.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Then I'm very interested in who your next 4 are if Patrick Mahomes is on your list.
I can't wait to tell you.
Yeah, so
he's on my list.
Jeff, do we have your – I'm sorry. I'm trying to write these down so I keep track.
My 5 was Peyton Manning. My 5 was Peyton Manning.
Graham, what's your 4?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Patrick MVP Mahomes.
Yeah.
Okay. My 4 is Russell Wilson, who we spoke about.
Wow, John, I'm surprised you had him so high. I like it.
Why?
Yeah.
I love Russell Wilson.
I do too.
He's the 4th best quarterback since 2011. I like him so much.
He's a stud.
He's a stud.
I love him and Pete. Go chew some gum on the way to another Super Bowl.
Yep. My 4 is Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers, okay.
So we're all right in the same ballpark with the. We're starting to get real tight with the debate.
We're gonna get this way as we get there. I actually had Rodgers at 3. So
yeah.
Where do you have at 3, Graham?
All right, this is easily, no question, Drew Brees.
I would raise a question. I'm not going to do it yet, but he's in my top 3. I'm just going to say where.
So my 3 is Russell Wilson.
Okay.
He proves it. You literally were just singing his praises, Graham. You were just singing his praises, and now you're mad at me for picking him one spot up.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
If you look at his body of work from 2011 till 2020 is more impressive than what Mahomes has done in 2 years.
If Mahomes was in the league longer,
he hasn't been. He hasn't been. He would be in my next list, obviously, for the next decade, 100%.
Okay, so open to interpretation.
Yep.
What are we on 3? I have Aaron Rodgers. Did I say that yet?
No, that's fair. Graham, who's your 3?
Drew Brees.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So Brees is my second.
Brees is my second also.
I figured he would be both of your guys' seconds.
Who's yours?
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
See, that's come on.
If you want to talk
Wait, hold on. I just want to hear you say, Graham, who's your 1?
The GOAT. Everyone knows who the best quarterback of all time is. Even people born in Indianapolis who named their firstborn Peyton. The GOAT, Tom Brady.
Yes.
I think everyone here can agree to that. If you don't,
you're an idiot. If you don't agree with that.
I mean, most Super Bowls ever. I don't even have to justify this. Let's be
no. There is no justification. There was a point in time when Tom Brady, when Russell Westbrook, who was the MVP of the NBA, had a lower field goal percentage than the percentage Tom Brady plays in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady makes it to the Super Bowl more time than Russell Westbrook made baskets.
And a kudos to whoever fed you that stat, because that is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Great usage there, Graham.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless anyone has anything to add, I think we can move on to not kudos to the week, but our other recurring segment that we introduced, which is
sexy, not sexy.
Sexy, not sexy. I think it's. I guess I'll kick it to you, Jeff. You want to give us your? Let's start with your not sexy. What was not sexy?
You want to know what's not sexy? Is there was a town in Oregon where the people of that town are being asked, this is an actual article, are being asked to stop calling the police because they ran out of toilet paper. That is not sexy.
What even is that mean? Like,
they're calling the cops.
You can't be on drugs, right?
They're dialing 911 for an Oregon police department is asking residents to not call them because they ran out of toilet paper.
It's got to be a joke. It's probably like high school kids that are like 15.
I've seen it on multiple news outlets now. Everyone knows everything on the internet is true. But I'm just saying that's not sexy.
That is not sexy. Can't take anything away from that. Graham, what about you?
For me, not sexy. I'm going to bring it back to last week's episode and go with North Korea. Just another shout out to a former Wyoming student that we know, Otto Warmbier, who tragically went and was held against his will in North Korea. Ultimately did not make it. So, thoughts and prayers to the Warmbier family, and nothing sexy about that situation.
Agreed. Nothing sexy about that at all.
Obviously. Yep.
My not sexy was a little lighter, and it had to do with Britney Spears. Britney Spears did a TikTok video. I guess she was doing like a TikTok dance yesterday. And when she was like opening up speaking, she mentioned like, so I kind of like burned down my gym. And apparently, long story short, she had a bunch of candles in her like home yoga gym and burned the whole damn thing down. And so it's being rebuilt right now.
Wait, she burned the whole building down?
Her gym down.
Wow.
That's not sexy.
I'm still Team Britney over Aguilera all day.
I'm Team Britney too, Graham. I agree with you on that.
Kudos, Jeff. Kudos.
Yeah.
Genie in a bottle.
Yeah. All right. Should I go for my sexy then?
Yep. Go for it.
My sexy is honorary colonel, recently promoted from captain, Tom Moore, who celebrated his 100th birthday today. This is the man in England who was a former served in World War II, and with his walker said he was going to walk 100 laps around his residence to raise money for the I believe it's the National Health Service. And his goal was like $3,000. He's raised $30 million.
Wow.
You, sir, Tom Moore. Hats off to honorary Colonel Tom
Unbelievable
Moore
work.
For being
Tom,
the sexiest. And if I had a kudos this week, I'd give that to him also.
Inspiring stuff as usual. Graham?
Putting on the spot here, nothing too sexy for my sexy, but I'm just going to be a little selfish here and say the work from home situation, shout out to my future in-laws, let me and Kelsey stay at their place in South Carolina. I'm on an island. There's a golf course behind me right back there. That's the second hole. I shot a 120 last weekend. Probably shouldn't have been driving the golf cart. So quarantine life has been good for me.
Awesome.
Very, very sexy.
Very nice.
Sexy. I had a two-part. Two things are back. Number one, NASCAR is coming back, baby.
No
Very
fans
sexy.
at NASCAR.
Major League Baseball also rolled out some preliminary plans. I can have a whole segment on just this, to be honest. I'll try to get you guys on board with that. But yeah, they're coming back to targeting, I think it's a late or early July situation. They're realigning all the divisions. That's super exciting for me. I mean, like, I'm a huge Reds fan. Graham, I know you are too. Jeff, you dabble, but those are the sexiest things of the week for me.
Yeah, real quick, John, hey, another thing that's sexy, appreciate you guys letting me on here today to kick it around. If you guys invite me back, I'd love to do a, Cincinnati Reds 2020 outlook debate. I was really excited about the season. I think there was a lot of off-season moves there. So really excited to see there could be some salvage there.
Graham, you're definitely getting many invitations back. So I think we'll discuss offline. And, lucky listeners out there, you might have some MLB previews coming your way.
That's right.
I want to switch gears a little bit. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll know where we're going. Jeff and I actually, just complete coincidence, happened to have Dennis Rodman jerseys. I believe.
Shout out
Jeff,
to Graham, who actually gave me this jersey
Graham?
for my birthday. Graham actually gave me this jersey for my birthday.
That's awesome.
Wow. That was a good year, Jeff. 2013?
Yeah, 2013.
Wow.
That was before Manning had nerve damage.
Yeah.
Good year for both of us.
I think my mom, this one's legit from like the mid-90s. My mom got it, I want to say in like 96.
That's a good one. The All Blacks was awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I want to start that. But let's talk a little bit about so the episode 3 and 4 were Sunday night on ESPN for the Michael Jordan documentary that's been ongoing, The Last Dance. I guess one of the things that kind of stuck out to me about it was just like the hatred with MJ and those Bulls teams and those Pistons teams from like the late 80s, early 90s. And I was listening to some sports talk, just like a random radio station today. Apparently, Isaiah got like blackballed from the 92 Dream Team because the hatred ran so deep.
Right.
I didn't even think about that. And it's understandable, but it's pretty like
petty.
It sounds petty. They were talking about it. They were
from
talking
MJ stands. Like
they were talking about it all day. But I heard that it wasn't necessarily MJ. I did hear that like he never like really brought him up. And then some people were making the argument that's because Christian Laettner had to be on the team because you have to at that point in time it was deemed that you had to have a college player on the team.
One.
Yeah, one.
I think Isaiah Thomas was one of those fringe guys in terms of talent. Obviously, the dream.
What are you talking about?
He was like the best player at that time, 92. Like the Pistons,
he was
just like one year before or 2 years before.
It's because you love John Stockton too much.
Yeah. Oh my God, this isn't even a debate. John Stockton or Isaiah Thomas?
They talked about it all day, and I agree. So, dude,
I'll take Stockton, but
if you put their resumes up against each other, just like offensively, I mean, all that Stockton had the defense. Isaiah Thomas, dude, would blow him out of the water.
I'm looking up how big of a gap? I think it's 3,000 assists that John Stockton has ahead of Jason Kidd.
Why does it have to be? Why does it have to be assists though? Because Isaiah was also a scorer. Stockton had Malone. If Isaiah would have had Malone on those Piston teams, we'd be talking about possibly another team that was the greatest team in that era.
He had Lambeer.
Come on.
He was not a scorer, John.
Malone you could put up as the second or third best power forward ever.
The glove.
I'm not debating that.
The mailman.
My dad, like he was so cheap in like 2002. Everyone was getting like the cool Jordan shoes, and I was going out for like my first year of basketball. He bought me Karl Malones. They were like discounted at like playing against sports.
You know what's funny?
I hadn't played 10 years or whatever.
That's
I
awesome.
wore Karl Malones.
I had the Shaquille O'Neal high
basketball
tops that spelled out Shaq in black and white, real bold.
Yeah,
Those are dope.
those are dope.
I was
Those
also
are dope.
playing power center back then for the rec team.
Not much
look,
changed.
Going back to the MJ doc, I cannot wait for this week's episodes because they go into the dream team. But I will say this: I love watching basketball. I love watching highlights of older players, like when I was younger and everything like that. But I feel like when you watch Jordan highlights, there's just something different about him that against any that no one else even matches. Just what he does during the game as a single person, especially only being 6'6", which in NBA isn't necessarily all that tall. There's just something about his highlights that to me solidify that he was ultimate competitor, best ever, and LeBron's number 2.
Fact. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Undecided
And
for me.
let me get my shameless plug in real quick. To all those people who are holding out to watch The Last Dance because they want to binge it, stop what you're doing now immediately. This is must-see documentary, okay? And the debates that you can have with your little compadres week to week will keep your boner hard as long as this show goes on for 10 weeks. 5.
Well said.
Well said.
Any other
Well said.
pieces that you guys want to discuss from them?
Excited.
Doc? I mean,
Super excited for next week's episode.
it was a Rodman doc. One thing I will say, which I don't know how I ran into it. So Rodman's son does like reviews on Instagram Live, which is weird enough. And then I was thinking, like, how weird would it be if you were him? Like,
Rodman's son?
It's cool, but it's got to be a little embarrassing.
I mean,
Right?
I'd be like, whatever, pops. Like, I mean, you made the
You think
career.
at this point you're just like, you've been like hit with so
dude.
much of this crap your whole life. You're just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah, it is. He is what he is. Dude, one of the greatest
you're probably
basketball
right.
players ever. I mean, there are so many stats where he had like 0 points, 28 rebounds, and like 12 assists or 12 steals or something like that.
I think there was the trivia question that was who had Dennis Rodman is the only player in NBA history who had 20 rebounds and 0 points. He did it 7 times, and number 2 was
nobody.
I can't think of it. I don't know. That was
Marcus Camby who did it 2 times.
Marcus Camby.
Great throwout, Graham.
That is good.
That's why
So-
you're our resident 90s NBA expert.
I think that's a great segue. That's a great segue.
It is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of the other things we were talking about. So, the reason that we had our special guest Graham on, apart from being having great insight and great opinions, was he had given us a little chirping about our NBA draft. So, we're not going to do the same exact list that we did before. We're going to switch it up a little bit. What we're doing today is right now, if you had to draft your starting 5 current NBA players, current. But the special twist we have for you guys, just to keep things interesting, is you get 2 wild cards. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they have to be from 80s or 90s NBA.
Correct. 80s or 90s NBA.
Okay,
2
so
wild
Tracy
cards.
McGrady does not fit into this. This is an example.
Well, no, you're not.
80s or
You're not going to put him in that list, anyways, are you?
Well, if we make a shooting guard from the 2000s, maybe he makes the list.
I really hope John was just trying to make a point there.
I'm kidding.
but it's stars in the 80s and 90s. Stars.
Tracy McGrady was a star. That's a whole different conversation. The
I'm
respect
not
that
saying
you
he
need to have
wasn't
for
a star.
teammates.
I'm not saying he wasn't a
You-
star, but you're not going
you
to put him on
better
the top
not be
7
saying
of someone
that.
you're in a draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'm with Jeff on that. Enough said.
All right. Who's going?
All right. Since Graham is our guest,
Yeah.
so we're doing a snake draft. We're gonna go
Snake.
1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
6, 6, 7. All right.
Yes.
So Graham's gonna go first. Jeff, I'll give
Wow.
you. Do you want second or third pick? I
I'll
don't
take
care.
third.
I'm gonna
I'll
pick the
take
best
third.
team regardless. So you guys let me know what you're most comfortable with.
I'll take third.
I am not prepared for this.
Do you not want to go first?
I will go first.
Graham, do you have any? Did you think about this at all, or are you just going on the fly here?
Hopefully, I mean, we should know who your first pick is. We lost Graham.
I'm here.
Do we lose you, Graham?
I'm trying to wrangle up my little baby.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what
you got
that means.
puppy.
Okay. Graham, do you have your first pick, or should maybe we do this in reverse fashion?
No, Graham's got it. Graham said he wanted the first pick.
Oh, he just wanted the baby with him. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Am I up?
You're up, Graham.
All right. Well, no surprise here, LeBron James.
Yep.
What position do you have in that? Announce that as well.
Small
so
forward.
everyone-
He's my 3.
clear.
He's your 3. Interesting. That's interesting.
Are we allowed to move these depending on how the draft shakes out?
Of course.
Yes.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just announce the player and the position, and we're all good.
Okay. He's currently my small forward at number 3.
I like it. All right, John.
With my first overall pick, I'm going to take I'll take Giannis as my 4.
Good pick. It would have looked like a very close MVP race this year.
Very, very close. Very close.
Side note, LeBron said nobody he knows doesn't want to play. Will we see a season? Maybe.
Well,
Why not?
everyone wants to play.
We're going to see a season, I predict. Will there be fans? I don't think so. At least at the beginning. Vaccine coming from an inside source.
Before the end of the freaking season. That's stupid.
Yeah, if
But-
a vaccine was developed and
people,
approved by
sure.
the FDA today, it would be rolled out in September. Let's not get too off topic here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I could buy a ticket to the
All right.
moon, I'd do that too.
My-
What's your
hey,
pick?
My first pick, who I should have picked probably in the one draft that you and I did, John, is Durant.
Where are you putting him, Jeff?
He's going to be either 3 or 4. Right now, I'll put him at 4.
Okay.
Okay.
I like this play.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Alright.
then my ones. It's I don't want to. I hate doing this, but I'm
I know where
going to
you're
do
going.
it.
It's the guy you
Steph.
got pissed that I stole him from you last time.
Steph. I'm going Steph for my 1. Steph Curry.
Smart. Nice little combo. It's almost like they played together before.
Almost like they've won a title together, right?
Certainly is. All right. So let's see here. Got Steph off. I'm gonna take with my at my 5. I'm gonna take Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm gonna
Wow.
put him with LeBron, or sorry, with Giannis. I think that's a great
Giannis.
4-5 combo.
Yeah.
Think about the length on that.
Yep.
Post. I'm taking
Anthony Davis at 5. Wow.
So Graham,
Well,
you
he's
get
at
2
my
picks
5.
here.
He's wearing. He's
No, I don't get 2 picks.
Yeah, you do. It's a snake.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was first. Okay. Gosh. Well, your guys' picks really screws up my plans.
Nothing makes for
that's the
good
point.
listening, like a bunch of pauses when you think.
Okay. I'm gonna throw him at my. Wow, I could do. So small forward is so deep. I'm trying to get strategic here with best available, and depth. So I'm gonna go with my boy Luka Doncic
Love it.
at the
Love
number
it.
4.
Love it.
that. At the 4.
At the 4.
You heard me.
That's what you said. All right. I didn't even have him qualified to play that position, but
Isn't he a
You heard
shooting
me.
guard? Is he a shooting guard?
I think it was a 3.
What?
He might be a three.
He's 6'10".
Hey, he's playing 4 for Graham. They're playing small ball out in
Dude,
You're
South
not
Carolina.
thinking of Jokic, are you?
Luka Doncic is more of a 5 than he is a 2.
That's a take. That's a hot take right there. Jeff, what do
Hot
you got?
take. Wow. Okay.
We're deep. My bad.
So he's 6'7". He's a point guard, small forward is what he's listed at.
Hey, I also have LeBron.
Point
Let's not
guard,
forget I
small
can flip
forward.
those. I can flip him with LeBron.
Yes.
We're going small ball, baby.
You're changing. I don't hate that. Just take the
Okay.
best players available and see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and all right, I'm gonna put James Harden at my shooting.
Okay, so recap your team so far, Graham, just so you can all follow along.
I got LeBron and Luka at 3-4, and James Harden at shooting.
I mean,
two. Okay.
Okay.
It's not a bad team. Honestly, I think it's a great team if you switch 3 and 4, but it's not my team, it's yours, and you're running the show. So that's a great team so far.
Well, here's the thing about
coupled them
LeBron. You can
together
talk
as my
about one
team.
if you want.
Yeah, you can.
You can move LeBron to 1 and Doncic to 2.
I could put LeBron at 6. I got the best player in the NBA.
It's true. All right, John.
All right, what do I have here? I'm gonna take Kyrie as my one.
Bro, he was my honorable mention.
Why? Well, I don't know why that's laughable. So he's the one who made the shots when they won the title in Cleveland.
I think if we're talking honestly about a basketball team with him as your one, he's got the best handles in the NBA. Imagine him distributing to Giannis and Davis. What's not to like?
Point guard is way too deep. I don't like that pick.
Things right now, he belongs on the list.
Point guard is way too deep.
Sorry?
You think he's the second best point guard in the NBA?
Yeah.
Come on.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Kawhi Leonard at my 2 right now.
I know.
Jeff loves Kawhi, and I love it.
Like defending, like dying
love
on my
it.
hill. That's what I was thinking.
And Joel Embiid is my 5.
So recap your team for Jeff.
I had him as my best overall 5.
Yeah.
Jeff, who's on your team? Give us a rundown.
So my team is Kevin Durant at either my 3 or my 4, Steph at my 1, Kawhi at my 2, and Embiid at 5.
Okay. And Graham, it's back to you.
Back to back, huh?
Oh, it works. Oh, wait, it's me. Sorry.
It's you.
Sorry. This is confusing. I'm going to take, at my 2, I'm going to take Clay.
What?
Klay Thompson.
Clay.
All right, he was my 2 overall.
At 2? He's second at 2. Okay. And that goes back to you, Graham.
Okay, I'm glad because I'm going Wildcat, Cincinnati, Karl Anthony Towns.
Cincinnati. All right.
So he's your 5.
And then who else you got there?
And rounding up the caboose. Wow. Options. So deep at number 1. Definitely would not have taken Kyrie here if available. I already have Harden and LeBron and Luka, who are serious real-time scorers. So muddy in the waters with another one in Russell. I'm going to pass on that, and I'm going to go with a role player, Hall of Famer, first ballot, Chris Paul.
Can't hate on it.
No, that's a good pick.
Okay. To round me out at the 4. Wait, that's you, Jeff. Sorry, I already have a 4. As my 3.
You're up, buddy.
I know. As my 3, I'm going to take Paul George as my 3.
Yeah, that's a good pick too.
Very solid. Deepest position in the league.
What, 3?
That hybrid 3-4.
I think it's the point guard. The point guard is the deepest position. We could talk about that for.
That's podcast number 6 right there.
We could.
Huh?
We
yeah,
could.
Right.
Okay, so I'm finishing us out here then, huh?
Bring it home, Jeff.
So to me, I'm gonna keep Durant actually at a 4 with Embiid at my 5. Kawhi still at my 2, and Steph's at my 1.
To be clear, Embiid can only be a 5.
I mean, that's true, but you can put him over at 3. if you wanted
It's
to,
just
right?
like you
What?
can do anything. It's like putting Luka Doncic as your 4.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to shake everything up right now. I'm going to put Durant at my 3. And you know who I'm going with at my 4?
Who?
Zion Williamson.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. This
Yep.
just became a blowout. My team's gonna blow yours out.
No
Great
way.
pick, man.
Zion and
I
Joel
think
Embiid.
our listeners are
The guy
gonna
can't
rip
even stay in
Jeff apart.
shape.
What are you talking about? He almost was going to be the rookie of the year, and he didn't even play the whole season.
Yeah, because he's too freaking fat for his little ankles.
You're an idiot.
Come
All right.
on, man. Like, how you?
Hey, John.
You're putting him in 4. He's starting on your All NBA team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's gonna turn the Pelicans around. John, you are up now. Okay, you're up now with your first 80s or 90s player.
Well, despite the fact that I'm wearing a Dennis Rodman jersey, I'll take Michael Jordan with my
Obviously.
my first pick.
That's unfair.
Well,
You get 2 picks right now. You get 2 picks.
All right.
you gonna cry
Wow.
about it some more? Or you gonna pick someone?
Yeah.
Keep Googling best players in the 90s over there. You're on a
Yeah,
podcast,
go ahead-
man.
go ahead
There's
and
no
pull
time to
those
think.
up.
You just gotta go.
Who's on the
go.
clock? Who's on the clock?
You are. You
are.
got 2 picks right now.
Shit.
I'm not really prepared either, but you just gotta go. You can't just sit there thinking, man.
All right. Just based
What?
on great. All right, let's go.
Based on what, man?
All right, these are bench players. Does this matter for our current roster?
Yeah, if you could plug them in and play them.
We've been talking
Okay.
about this all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I already got a healthy big. I'm gonna go small. I'm going with Magic Johnson.
Well, obviously.
Good pick, man. You got another one now. What's your next one?
Let's go big. My boy, Shaquille O'Neal.
Love that pick. I do.
For the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. It's late 90s. It works. I'm not going to delay Graham and
I'm
make
not
him
saying
think
it
of another
doesn't
one
work.
right now.
I'm not saying it
Fuck,
doesn't
I mean,
work.
there's so many. There are so many. I could go on
I'm
for
not
days.
saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't work.
So it's my pick
Shit.
again?
Yep.
Bird. I just got the best 2 players of the 80s. Dude.
Yeah, you did.
Or, wait. No, just one. But yeah. All right, your turn, Jeff. You get 2.
I mean,
Round
you
us
just
out.
got 2 unbelievable players, obviously. So for me, I get to finish it out, and I'm gonna go Olajuwon.
Like it?
Over
All right.
Barkley.
Huh?
What?
I like
see what
Barkley.
you're doing.
I like Barkley too. And then I'm gonna go for my 80s to fill in there. I'm gonna go ahead and put Dr. J.
Good pick. Good pick. No bad picks here. So
All
say
Hall of
again, we
Famers.
had you at
All Hall of
Olajuwon
Famers. Huh?
and
All Hall of
Dr.
Famers.
J. Okay. So just to recap, we'll put this on Twitter at the Jungle Pod. Unless I notated these down incorrectly, what I have to recap the teams. Running the team for Graham, Team Graham at the 1, Chris Paul, 2, Harden, 3, LeBron, 4, Luka, and at
We can
5,
flip
Anthony
those.
Towns.
Let's flip 3-4.
So you want
3.
LeBron at your 4?
You're doing what I said. Good.
Fuck it. Let's ride.
That's what I thought. Yeah, 3, LeBron, 4, Luka, 5, Anthony Towns. On the bench, you have All-Stars, Magic, and Shaq, of course. Jeff, your team, I had Steph, Curry, Leonard, Durant, Zion at 4, and Embiid at 5. On the bench, you have Olajuwon, and I can't read the other one.
Dr. J.
Dr. J, that's what I wrote. And then rounding out my starting 5 and my bench, I had Kyrie, Clay, George, Giannis, Anthony Davis. On my bench, I had MJ and Bird.
Nice.
John gets the best bench for sure.
Well, yeah, it's MJ and
You
Bird.
said it, not me. You said it.
But does it fit with his team? He picked Klay Thompson
Yeah, MJ can start
and
over.
Kyrie.
You picked Zion
Ky-
Williamson.
Kyrie, I can laugh at, but Klay
Zion
Thompson
Williamson
is
can't even,
legit.
he can't.
I know.
He can't limit his like taco order when he goes out. You know what I mean? Like,
You're losing your mind. If you don't think Zion's going to be a bona fide all-star in this league.
I don't say
you just said going to be. You just said going to be.
Yeah, so I'm picking a team right now to win. He was already going to be rookie of the year, and he didn't even play the whole season. Let's stir it up.
I love it. Great takes today. Any other pieces that you guys have to say, or should we go ahead and wrap this one up?
I just want to say, if you want to talk about mechanics at the quarterback position in the NFL, Peyton Manning is the Ray Allen of the NFL. I mean,
and not so not the best. Not the best.
Yeah, I had him at number 2.
Okay. All right. That's fair. But not from – if it would have been 05 to 15, we'd probably be right there with you. We'd be right there with you, but we didn't.
Fair. I am going outside. I'm going total body of work, a little bias there. Okay, some nostalgia along the way.
Yep.
Fair.
Okay. I like the list. I like your rankings. I like the teams. Ton of fun. Can't wait till next time.
Yeah, and you guys heard how we feel about each other's teams. Would love to hear how you do too. Go ahead and vote online at the polls. I guess at this point we're gonna go and wrap this up. Been a good episode 5. Graham, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks, buddy.
I enjoyed it. Hopefully you did too.
Yeah, I had a good time. Appreciate you guys having me. Parting words, just want to give a shout out to John Monick when he wrote to Woody Page and got a response back in 2010-ish.
Not a better way to end this than that.
There you go.
Thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to make episode 6. If you haven't picked up on it yet, we're doing these Mondays and Thursdays. It's been fun, guys. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you on Monday night.
See you guys. Thanks.
See you, fellas.